Hi, I'm John Brussier, Assistant Principal Clarinet and E-flat Clarinet of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Today, we are playing Symphonie fantastique, or the Fantastic Symphony, by Hector Berlioz, one of the great musical storytellers of all time. And he also broke musical ground in several ways in this piece, particularly with this instrument, the E-flat piccolo clarinet, which he featured in a symphonic setting for the first time ever. And it continues to be the peak of our repertoire. So throughout this piece, which has 5 movements, the theme, or the idée fixe, which is a melody that Berlioz assigned to this woman that he became infatuated with. This theme appears in each of the 5 movements of the symphony, and it's played by the clarinet each time. By the 5th movement, this character becomes a little cackly witch on the E-flat clarinet. And so that's the way you have to be able to bring the character to the listener. And the only way to do that is with these very, very pointed gestures and very, very quick, jumpy gestures. And in order to create this picture of the witch, you have to pay very, very close attention to the rhythm, the articulation, and the dynamics. So the rhythm in the Little Witch's Dance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the rhythm that the clarinet plays in this movement is da-da, 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 da-da. Short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, throughout this section of the piece. And then on top of that, Berlioz adds trills on some of the quarter notes, and he adds grace notes to some of the quarter notes. And you have to be very, very careful to not disturb the basic rhythmic undercurrent of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, da, 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 da. The way you do that with the grace notes is to make the grace notes very, very close to the principal note. Like. Now on the trills, measuring the trills is a really, really good idea. Play 7 notes on every quarter note for the trills. So with a big diminuendo on it. So it's and it's tempting to put a space after the quarter note. But I don't think that's as effective as filling it in. The gap occurs after the short 8th note. Now I mentioned dynamics. So the dynamic should outline the shape of the phrase. So if it starts low and goes higher, then you make a crescendo. And then when it comes down, you make a diminuendo. So for the first phrase, for example, it's an arch. And then the next phrase is another arch. And then the next phrase starts to build and build and build, and you just follow the shape of the phrase with the dynamic. And practice slowly. I think it's really important in this excerpt particularly to practice slowly so you can capture the rhythm. It's not easy to do when you go too fast. It's much easier to do when you go slowly. And then add in the grace notes and the trills. So, when you're preparing for an audition, you must show absolute command of rhythm, articulation, and dynamics. And in your mind's ear, know how it sounds before you play anything. Then you have something to aim at, something to really make come alive.